Samson Dauda, Nick Walker. The very moment these two names are spoken aloud, a wave of electricity runs through the bodybuilding community, because they are not just competitors, they are living forces of nature, two men whose destinies seem forged in iron and fire, whose stories intertwine into one of the most epic rivalries modern bodybuilding has ever seen. And as fans, as believers of this sport, as worshippers of the grind, you know this clash is not ordinary. It is history in motion, the kind of saga that future generations will whisper about, because Samson Dauda, the Nigerian lion, has risen from humble beginnings with a frame so massive yet flowing so beautifully that it looks like Michelangelo himself chiseled him out of marble. A man whose presence is as majestic as his physique, whose aura commands respect the moment he steps on stage. And then there is Nick Walker, the Mutant, a nickname that once sounded like a joke but now resonates like thunder, because Nick is no ordinary man. He is a machine engineered through years of brutal discipline, a relentless grinder who took every insult, every doubt, every smirk thrown his way, and converted it into raw slabs of freakish muscle. And together these two stand as the embodiment of bodybuilding's eternal question: should the throne belong to beauty, flow, and symmetry, or should it be ruled by mass, freak factor, and conditioning so sharp it cuts the air itself? Because when Samson spreads his lats, it feels like the stage can no longer contain him. And when Nick hits a most muscular, it feels like the roof is going to collapse from the shockwave. And fans are split down the middle, one half screaming for the lion, intoxicated by his aesthetics and charisma, and the other half roaring for the mutant, hypnotized by his sheer freak power and granite hardness. And this division is not just noise, it is passion. It is proof that bodybuilding is alive, that rivalries still ignite the fire, that fans still care deeply about who defines this era. Because bodybuilding is not just about who lifts the most weight or who has the thickest arms. It is about storytelling through muscle. And in Samson Dauda and Nick Walker, we see two stories colliding. Samson's story, a man who once walked uncertain roads in the UK, balancing survival with dreams, working day jobs while still grinding late nights in the gym, never giving up even when the spotlight seemed out of reach, slowly growing into a giant whose structure harkens back to Flex Wheeler, Sean Ray, and the golden era of lines and flow, but with the sheer density that only modern bodybuilding can deliver. And Nick's story, a man written off by countless critics who labeled him blocky, too short, unpleasing to the eye, but who looked them dead in the eye and said, "Watch me." And then day after day punished the weights until his physique became undeniable, carving out a look so terrifyingly dense, so brutally complete, that even the harshest critics now tremble when his name is mentioned. And their training styles are as different as their physiques. Samson moving like a warrior poet, attacking weights with power but controlling them with grace, posing like an artist painting live on canvas, every shot flowing into the next, every transition a reminder of what bodybuilding once was and can still be, while Nick grinds like a machine from another world, every rep a war, every set a battle, veins exploding, sweat pouring, his body shaking under the load but never breaking. Because in his mind there is no failure, only forward, only more, only heavier, only harder. And when they stand side by side on stage, the judges face the ultimate dilemma. Because how do you compare art to war, beauty to brutality, the lion to the mutant? And the fans lose their minds, some chanting for Samson's flowing silhouette, some roaring for Nick's dense granite mass. And history itself watches, knowing that in their clash lies the evolution of the sport. Because bodybuilding has always thrived on rivalries. Arnold versus Sergio, Haney versus Gaspari, Ronnie versus Jay, Phil versus Kai, and now Samson versus Nick, a rivalry that will define this decade. And the Olympia stage becomes the battlefield where their legacies are forged, Every pose a sword strike, every flex a thunderclap, every stare down a clash of gods, and the world tunes in. Millions watching, millions debating, millions inspired, because in them we see not just muscles, but sacrifice, not just veins, but visions, not just sweat, but stories of resilience, of never quitting, of proving the impossible possible. And whether you side with Samson Dauda, the lion who embodies balance, flow, and timeless beauty, or with Nick Walker, the mutant who personifies freak power, conditioning, and relentless grit, you cannot deny that both are legends already. Both are rewriting what it means to be a bodybuilder in 2025. And both are dragging this sport into a new era with their bare hands, and so we watch, we scream, we feel, because this is more than a competition. It is the symphony of iron, the poetry of pain, the theater of muscle, and in its center stand two warriors who will be remembered forever. And so I ask you, who will you choose, the lion or the mutant, Samson Dauda or Nick Walker, art or war, beauty or beast? But remember this, no matter who wins, both will remain immortal in the annals of bodybuilding history, and their rivalry will echo through time as one of the greatest ever seen. So stay tuned, stay inspired, and if your blood is pumping right now, if you can feel the fire of bodybuilding roaring in your veins, then don't forget to subscribe to Muscle Kraze, because this is just the beginning. The true war has only begun, and the legend of Samson Dauda and Nick Walker is far from over.